They were over listening to Sylvia Terry's phone calls, and she had threatened me because she said that I was telling things that I should have been kept private. She was behind a lot of the things that happened to Neasha, and she was the main person that was causing a lot of the issues in jail anyway. She was worried that she was going to come to prison on her kidnapping charge and something was going to happen to her because of what happened in the jail. Sylvia couldn't control Neasha. Sylvia tried to get her taken up front, moved to another pod. When none of that stuff worked, that's when it started getting dangerous. The whole time I was in there was a lot of bad things happen with Sylvia. And it was like she kind of controlled everybody else because they didn't want to be on the receiving end of her shit. So she went after 3 of the inmates with a squeegee. The day before Neasha died, well, I guess there was a fight in the pod or whatever over the remote. That day, Neasha come out and got the remote. She pushed mute on the TV and then went back to bed just to kind of be, she didn't want to hear it. And so instead of letting it go like they would of anybody else, Megan Barker, or Megan McIntosh, whichever you want to call her, she'd come in there and told Sylvia, because Sylvia was in my room just hanging out or whatever. She said that she was going to go get the remote and asked if Sylvia was going to have her back. And so when Megan went out there and got the remote and unmuted it, when Neasha come out of her room, Sylvia was standing there. Sylvia said, "There ain't nobody fighting." Anyway, it turned into a great big racial fight, is what it did. It was just like, it was a constant racial thing going on, but they got the guards back there, and the guards didn't give a damn. Sylvia didn't care. Megan McIntosh didn't care. Amanda Burton didn't care. And Mia DeGonia. Those are the ones that tormented her. Megan McIntosh made a noose out of some old material or whatever that Sylvia had. As a matter of fact, when the day that I got moved into the pod with Kimberly Rosales, one of the guards had walked in there and told Neasha to get her black ass up off the bed. Then Sylvia snapped on everybody, well, basically Neasha, and said there ain't nobody gonna do nothing unless they go through me. Neasha didn't come back out of the room much that night. And within a few hours, she was getting really sick. Kim Rosales was in her room at that time. And so when they got her in her room, I watched her lean her head up against the door because we have a big long glass that goes the whole length of the door. Well, I watched her slide all the way down and bounce her head. And she started screaming, hollering for help. Mm-hmm. As soon as she started screaming, the girls that were next door to her, everybody in the pod started screaming, Sylvia, Megan, Amanda, all of them, and Mia. They were all on her side of the pod. They were all screaming, trying to drown her out. That night, after we all were locked down, after we found out she died, the girls they didn't give a damn. Amanda Burton's comment, she moved into her room that night as soon as they took Neasha out and we found out she had died. And she said, well, her words were, the shit shouldn't have made her die. It should have just made her sick and got her taken to medical.